Had this happened to me, I would have walked my resignation in immediately. This is not okay. The threat is in the House. The threat is across the dais.
Secretary Hegseth has the
Yes or
classification
no?
and
You are the
declassification
DNI.
authority.
All right, we've got a pretty spicy one today with some clips of Russian agent Tulsi Gabbard being questioned after more information has came to light about the signal fiasco. So quickly hit the like button for us, helps the channel out, helps the video out a ton, and let's get into the takedown.
You, on March 15th, as DNI, retweeted a post from Ian Miles Chong, who is listed on RT, that's Russia Today's website, as, quote, a political and cultural commentator who has contributed content to RT since at least 2022. Director Gabbard, do you think that it's responsible for you as head of the intelligence community and the principal presidential intelligence advisor to retweet posts from individuals affiliated with Russian state media?
That retweet came from my personal account, and I would have to go back to look at the substance of the tweet.
Can I, just so that we don't have a lack of confusion amongst our allies and enemies and us, can I act perhaps that you not think that you should be saying one thing on your personal account than you say officially?
I maintain my First Amendment rights to be able to express my own personal views on different issues.
Director of National Intelligence and National Intelligence Security, by the way. I mean, it's hilarious. This is when these clowns think free speech matters. When our National Intelligence Director, who Russian media said was their favorite agent, by the way, is retweeting literal Russian propagandists on Twitter. But not when the Trump administration is deporting people here legally because their views don't align with what they want them to. I hate that we allowed Trump to normalize so much that something like this, which would have been career-ending, almost party-ending 15 years ago, isn't even a newsworthy story now. Like, we have a literal Russian puppet as the head of national intelligence, and people aren't even batting an eye. Republicans are so Russia-infiltrated, it's not even funny anymore.
I find it offensive for you to accuse me as a Democrat of not caring about national threats. I very much wanted to talk about those. In fact, had prepared questions in advance of this hearing about those threats, specifically about biosecurity and bioterrorism, but I don't have time to ask those questions because the threat is in the House. The threat is across the dais, and I need to ask these questions. It's my job to ask these questions of you. Because when I served in the military and I served in classified environments, had this happened to me, I would have walked my resignation in immediately. This is not okay. Communicating these sorts of things in Signal is not okay. Targets, times, those kinds of things are absolutely classified, and we all know it. I know it. These people know it, you all know it. And the fact that we're having to have these conversations now means that I can't ask the questions that I need to ask about things like bioterrorism and biosecurity.
I love everything that this woman says here. Republicans love to act like the kids in the room, and then when they're called out, they pretend that Democrats are trying to distract from the issues. When it's the fact that Republicans are doing things like this, they're lying and then trying to do a spin rather than taking accountability, cleaning house for those responsible. That distracts us from being able to move on and put focus on the things that matter and the real problems, because it's like, whoa, like, just admit you were wrong. I mean, what keeps you from doing it again if you can't do that, if you're not even going to say you won't do the same things again? And we have real world comparison also, right? Under Biden, we didn't have to worry about dumb scandals like this or sensitive data being leaked and battle plans getting out to the public. Instead, we were able to focus on the real issues, and we strengthened ourselves abroad, we strengthened NATO, and we did pretty good work.
Would this seem to qualify to you as something worthy of that investigation?
Thank you for your question, Congresswoman. In this situation, Secretary Hegseth has the
Yes or
classification
no?
and
You are the
declassification
DNI.
authority over DOD information.
This chat did not have the auspice of being a DOD chat. There's no such thing as labeling it as DOD. This was a chat amongst a great variety of people, and you, according to our law that we passed here bipartisanly, have an obligation when you think there has been a tangible, significant leak of information to instigate an investigation. Do you not think it's important to do such a thing?
Well, the National Security Council is investigating
no?
this inadvertent leak, And again, I point to Secretary Hegseth as having the classification.
I would argue that
classification
Secretary
authority.
Hegseth, if he had the dignity that he needs to have, should be walking his resignation in, because I believe that his probably is heading toward being relieved of his duty based on what I think are significant and illegal leaks, most likely.
Yeah, that was another pointless word salad to attempt to justify yourself to someone who might not know the inner workings of things as well. First off, multiple people from multiple agencies were included in the chat. To pretend that it was under the umbrella of the DOD is silly, and as National Intelligence Security, it would be on her to investigate if this was a threat to exactly that, as classified things being leaked. But like everyone else in the cabinet, she was chosen to roll over and just do whatever makes Trump look good, not to uphold the Constitution and what's best for the country, where if she tried, she would be relieved. So of course she's just going to comply. She wants power more than what's best for the country, and it's why this whole thing is more sickening than if it had just happened and these people were fired and we could move on from it. Is because these people genuinely do not care about the country.